All right, drawing while talking. Probably gonna stop saying that because it seems kind of stupid. Or well, I don't know. It's getting the brand out there. Yeah. Anyway, back to this atlas drawing, and kind of got to hustle on this. Kind of got to move on this one because, yeah, frankly, I have a dog, and it's a dog, Airedale Terrier. If you know that breed, awesome dogs. But yeah, he's already breathing down my neck for some adventure today. So, which means I gotta go out and walk him, or I gotta go out and we gotta go out and do something hardcore. We gotta go out and do something adventurous. So I'm gonna do that. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and commit. Move from the graphite to the charcoal, which is kind of cool, right? But the charcoal comes with the it's more of a commitment, obviously. Which is this is kind of. I mean, I know this is kind of stupid, but this is the way you feel about drawings, right? It's like, I mean, for crying out loud, you can erase this stuff. You can always start a new drawing. You can always start over or something. So yeah, it really shouldn't be a big a deal. But yeah, for some reason it always is. For some reason it's always terrifying to go from just from all the lines. I would commit to the big serious black, the big serious dark areas. So yeah, man, it strikes me that this is probably going to be, these videos are probably going to be, I don't know, is anybody beyond a pretty specialized, pretty specific audience going to care about, hear about? You know what, I'm just not even going to bother to doubt myself or worry about it. We'll just consider this field testing, let's consider this trial runs. So yeah, so one thing I discovered, one thing I thought about after last video, I talked about how, there's opposed forces in this. There's Atlas pressing up, there's Atlas lifting up this huge weight, and there's this tremendous weight pressing down on him. So yeah, I was thinking about that much more like over here with the leg, and it's really going to be a matter of working to really compress the body, to really give a sense of the body really being pressed down upon. Kind of thinking that might be, I mean, yeah, with the sculpture, I'm planning to make this into a sculpture, right? You'll have the figure in clay, and you can actually just physically mash down on it. So, but I also want to try and capture that here in the drawing in 2 dimensions. So I'm gonna get into that. Yeah, so this, I mean, I suppose this is just the more, right, this is kind of the more tedious, or this is kind of just the more straightforward. There's not too much really creative here. This is filling in darks, spotting blacks, where we're going to have the shadows, we're going to have the dark areas. And of course, I'm thinking, hoping that, yeah, see, this is kind of tough because, like, a lot of times you don't want the boulder, right? You want it to have a real sense of weight, but black often looks like, yeah, it just looks void, right? You're just like floating, just floating in space. So interesting question. Yes, I was thinking that. Now I'm thinking that this is going to be more just the solid rock. I was thinking this was going to be the overhang of the boulder, and that you would, of the rock, whatever this is that he's holding up. I was thinking that this was going to be a dark shape, conveying that. But now, suddenly that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking it's probably going to be better if there's this giant. If it doesn't work that way, if there's not so much overhang, if there's just this massive weight, if there's just this massive boulder, this massive rock form he's holding up, yeah, down here, yeah, that'll be dark. I suppose it has to be, because this is realistic, I guess. Good questions about what to do with the background here, but we'll get to that. So yeah, so that's worth considering, and obviously there's going to be cracks in the rock. There's going to be places where there'll be shadows, because yeah, the world's like that. All right, enough of that. So yeah, I'm just going to be laying down the blacks, and as I said, this is going to be I'm under pressure, yeah, because the dog is on my case. Also, man, it's totally blustery out, really huge wind, really big wind kicking up, and it's kind of great. So frankly, I'm pretty stoked to go out and walk in that, or chase the dog around, run around with the dogs in the wild, blustery weather. That's going to be a lot of fun, although it's going to takes away from work, right? But that's always the problem. So I'll have to make up the time in the evening and everything. All right, so yeah, touch on, let's see, shift to something else. What am I reading? I'm probably going to talk about, it's going to be pretty natural for me to talk about what I'm reading, because frankly, read a lot. And yeah, I gotta watch it. It's going to give everyone the idea. I'm going to give you the idea that I'm always doing science fiction. And I actually don't really do that much science fiction. At the moment, I'm rereading Snow Crash by Neal Stephenson. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I suppose it's most kind of famously known, or most kind of known as being a cyberpunk novel. Came out in 1992. At least that's the publication date when I checked. And yeah, it's definitely a cyberpunk novel. Although I've heard, and I can kind of see this, it's maybe kind of making fun of, or maybe kind of poking, maybe kind of a comic idea, maybe on kind of a comic idea of what a cyberpunk novel is. If whatever the case, it really works. It's really a blast. Definitely recommend it. And so for next time, I'm going to talk about something that's not sci-fi. Yeah, a lot of sci-fi recently, mainly because, what is it, Pluribus? Yeah, so I totally checked out, and yeah, I was really into the first season of Pluribus. So yeah, it's been kind of a science fiction binge lately. But yeah, to get back to Snow Crash, it's really inventive, a lot of ideas, and it's a lot of fun. It moves really fast. Yeah, just to lay it out. The two main characters. One is a courier, right? She's kind of the ultimate bike messenger, except it's a skateboard. Yeah, I should say something about the location. This takes place in a near future United States of America, and there's really no more United States of America. It takes place on the West Coast. It takes place California, but everything it's a libertarian world, which is one of my favorite things about it. It's an anarchic. It's a pretty lively and a pretty fun depiction of an anarchic society. United governments are really gone, and the United States, at least the area we're concerned with, and I suspect probably all of the United States, what's now the territorial United States, is broken up into different independent enclaves. So, for example, the male heroes, there's a male hero and there's a female hero, which is really cool. And the male hero protagonist, magnificent name, half Asian, half black dude, and hence the name is Hiro, Hiro. But yeah, hero protagonist. Yeah, for example, I think he's a honorary member of an enclave that's the nation of Vietnam. There's a kind of clan enclave, not surprisingly, with South Africa, right? So, and this is, yeah, so like when he's writing this, I would have to assume it's hard. I'm almost certain. I'd have to double check. I always double check these things, but I'm almost certain, yeah. Apartheid is still in effect, really, still go in South Africa because there's a South African nation that you can join, and of course, it's racist and only takes white people who, I guess, are of the appropriate ethnic blood or what have you. So you really don't have the United States of America anymore, and it's actually pretty creative, or it's pretty interesting why the United States of America, the government, so to speak, the federal government's gone. There is still a federal government, but it's so inefficient and so weighted down by bureaucracy. The computers are old, don't get updated, all this sort of thing. It's really kind of the United States, well, I think probably governments worldwide, they haven't really been toppled by force, they've been toppled by, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep knocking the stupid camera around. They haven't been toppled by force, they've been toppled by their own inefficiency and the world leaving them behind. I mean, Snow Crash is very much giving the message that private just completely outstrips public. Private completely outstrips the government, and very appropriate to its time. Hero protagonist is a hacker. So a lot of this takes place in VR. A lot of this takes place in virtual reality, and actually that's one of the more. It's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a drag in a way, because reading it. Yeah, so as I said, this is 1992, and I can remember the idea of what we thought the internet, the idea of what we thought all this stuff would be back then. I mean, it was so much. What we thought it would be was kind of so much better than what it turned out to be. I think like a lot of us thought back then, or we at least hoped, or it was at least cool to think about. Yeah, you can have this virtual reality world. I guess like there was maybe a game called Second Life, which I never saw, but you would have this there would be this virtual, yeah, like I don't know, maybe like Ready Player One, which I haven't seen, but there'd be this virtual world that you could go into and run around with your avatar, and you could hang out with people from all over the world and do cool stuff in this really awesome virtual reality environment, like you would have. You ever read like Neuromancer, right? You have like the whole landscape, it's like a whole cityscape of cyberspace is like this giant city, this giant landscape, and there's huge towers of information, which are corporations or military or what have you. And yeah, Hero Protagonist is quite big in this world. He's done a lot of the programming, which is kind of cool. It's also kind of. Yeah, I mean, I think my main point is it really harkens back to a time when the internet seemed to have like a lot more promise, and it does make you sad. I mean, I will say that it does kind of bum me out, because there was a lot of promise for that stuff, and now it's just, God. I mean, frankly, the internet is so bad. It's so lousy. I mean, you might as well go outside and play now. You might as well go read a book. Man, it just sucks so much. Like I genuinely wonder, like when I see. I mean, look, I love the internet the way other people love the internet, because it's a wonderful source. It's an incredible time waste, right? It's incredible. It gives you an incredible opportunity to waste time, and who doesn't love that? I'm only being half facetious. I mean, yeah, it's a spectacular time waste, and it's very hard not to love the internet for being a spectacular time waste, but it's just not. Yeah, but it had to be. But at some point, a time waste. It's got to be fun, and the internet really is just not much fun anymore. And I think that's because, like, I can remember early on. Like, I can remember earlier, and yeah, this is not, things were better back then. In a lot of ways, things weren't better back then. But if you went online, you went to all these different places, right? There were all these different, you could go read webcomics, you could go read all these different blogs, and yeah, there was a lot of garbage, and there was a lot of, like, stupid stuff, and it was clunky, and it was kind of ridiculous, but, I mean, if you go online now, you're basically stuck on the same 4 or 5. I mean, you're on the same 4 or 5 lame sites, and we all know what they are, or the same 4 or 5 lame apps or whatever. And yeah, I'm just not seeing. Yeah, I'm just not getting it the way I used to, or something. It's just not. It's not fun. I mean, even if you. I mean, yeah. I mean, okay, you can train the algorithm. Although, it seems like I don't know if I really want to go online and do work. But yeah, I mean, you can train the algorithm. The algorithm will show you a lot of what you want. Like, yeah, if I go on Blue Sky or whatever, I'll see like a lot of art. So I'll see really a ton of art, and I follow a lot of stuff, and in that, I don't deny a lot of that's still pretty great, but yeah, I'm just not sure. Like Twitter or whatever the hell it became, I'm just not sure it's worth the Nazi hellscape that it's become. It's just not. I mean, who needs that? Or at least I don't need that. Yeah, a lot of that's also just informed by. As I've gotten older, I've seen people. People I've been close to, and they just. It doesn't really matter if it's Fox News or whatever. And MSNBC, Fox News, that's not really the point. I'll just see it like, it'll suck up their lives. I mean, man, you'll just spend your time checking out MSNBC. And, oof, I mean, that's not my idea of, something that I want to do. But also, it really bums you out, or it literally bums me out, because friends, people I've known who've ended up like this, and I'm sure you know this, but like it gobbles up all the time, and just so much of it is fear. Just so much of it is just being afraid. It also, honestly, I mean, like, you'd make a lot more difference getting involved in local issues. You'd make a lot more difference if you got involved in local projects, like, go do stuff for Habitat for Humanity, do stuff for a soup kitchen, join a program to help teach kids how to read, what have you. I mean, that's going to be so much better than spending your time watching the horror show that is national politics, and not being able to do or not doing anything about it, not really being able to do that much about it. It's also, I think that also does apply to politics. I mean, I've really heard, like, if you want to make a difference, right, give your money to a local, like, school board elections, right? Support a candidate for school board elections. If you give, when there's some huge name, Gavin Newsom or whoever, right? There's some big Democratic name, some big Republican name, some huge controversy, and you send Stephanie Abrams in Georgia. I don't know why I'm thinking mainly Democrats, but I mean, the money you send them, I don't really think it's going to make that much of a difference. I think you'd really be better off doing something locally. you really have much more of an impact. All right, so, and I'm not gonna make this a whole political thing. I don't want like to do like. There's a lot of people doing politics, and there's a lot of that. And also, I just kind of said, you don't want to spend your life doing MSNBC or doing Fox News or doing what have you. I mean, that's not. Yeah. So what I said about the internet becoming, becoming so bad, you might as well go outside. Cable news, I can't, which just sounds like, which just sounds complete dinosaur. Like what even is cable news? I can't remember the last time I saw cable news, but I do remember that cable news at some point. Like I realized I could not watch this. I can physically, I am physically unable to watch this, and I'm being sincere. I mean, look, there are times when I say, "Oh, I couldn't watch that. I didn't see that. I couldn't watch that," and I'm lying. So, like, yeah, I was able to watch that, and I did see it. Like everyone else, I probably regret seeing it. Yeah, I definitely think I regret seeing a lot of these things. Cable news not like that. I mean, I really. I realized at some point, I cannot take this. Like, I cannot stand to be in the same room as this stuff. In cable news, it's also, and this is what Americans ignore at the jump. It's definitely what I ignore at the jump. Although, come to think of it, things are set up now so that I don't seem to really see televisions in the gym. Well, wait, one of the gyms I go to, I see them. The other one I don't. Which is going to make it sound like I'm some hardcore, dedicated gym rat, which I'm not. But I do like it. I do like going there, and I do feel a lot better if I go. So that is also one of my major to-do things today. So yeah. So all right, but I'm stoked to get down here and do this because I'm stoked to make some more progress on this drawing. And down here, I don't know, is the dog, like I said, the dog's gonna come down here. Dog's gonna come down here and get me pretty soon. So yeah, so down here, so spatial, since I'm just a voice or an void, it's not a bad thing. But yeah, so I have this is kind of a work area I have set up in the basement. It's pretty good for this because I can really, I have this huge, it's so awesome. I have this huge desk, this enormous desk my wife got for me. One of the best presents, one of the best gifts I ever got. It's just this gigantic old post office desk. The thing probably weighs as much as your average battleship, and it's probably even tougher than your average battleship. Yeah, it's an old post office desk. It's like a desk. Yeah, they would have like that's really obvious. A desk like from an old post office. But it's absolutely fantastic. The thing's absolutely massive. Thank God it comes apart. I would have never gotten it in the old house. I never would have gotten it in this house. Never would have gotten it anywhere. So they would have never gotten it into the post office without, I don't know, smashing out part of the wall. So thank God it comes apart. And yeah, it's just this awesome, massive desk. And so I have this all set up with light and set up with camera, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I do a lot of the drawing work down here. And in part because, well, the dog, the hound, he's a little reluctant. No, he's not even really reluctant to come down here. It's more that he's gonna, like, if he gets fed up, he's gonna lie at the top of the steps, leading down here to the basement and moan until I come up there and take him out for an adventure, which I am going to do in a second. So, yeah, if anybody's a fellow Airedale Terrier person, then maybe you'll understand. Really, really amusing dog. Like very, very independent. Not concerned, not too concerned with like what you want. If you have fiercely loyal, right? Awesome. It's a dog, right? Fiercely loyal, awesome dog. But yeah, very much like I'm gonna go do my own thing. And very much I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And so, yeah, like in the evenings, he'll just go off and he'll like a lot of times he'll go upstairs to my son's room and just crash out up there. Like I'm done with you guys. I don't need you guys anymore. I'll come back down when I need treats. Something like that. And then other times he's suddenly all like completely cuddly. Like I need you to come cuddle with me on the couch right now. So it's an amusing dog. Definitely not. So just very periodically, he's some kind of Velcro dog. But as I say, periodically. All right, so I'm gonna start wrapping this up because getting into the 25 mark. If you have any suggestions, criticisms, constructive, I would hope, suggestions, questions. One thing I might try, I remember this like a long while back, but there's there's something called gesso, which is it's really just acrylic paint. It's primer. But yeah, you can and you use it to prime canvases. It's kind of silly. You buy gesso is relatively expensive, I guess, and yeah, it's good paint. It's good acrylic paint. But there's a part of me that does wonder, like, why don't I just go buy primer from a good paint store? It's probably about the same as gesso. But one of the cool things about gesso, and I don't know how well this would work with different acrylic paint, is you mix it with charcoal. You mix charcoal into the gesso, you get some very interesting effects. So I probably am going to do some experimenting with that and come back to this. I'll post an update on the other Atlas drawing. I started to work on a drawing of Artemis or Diana, the Roman version. I also started to work on some preparatory sketches of a Minotaur. So lots of thoughts. Also it's like, there's always a question with these drawings, like how much am I worried about anatomy here? How much am I worried about getting the anatomy and so forth right? You always, obviously, stupid. Obviously, you always want to get the anatomy right, and you always want things to be in proportion. But yeah, you got to get a model for that, and right here, I'm really trying to think through the mass and how it's going to work. So it does become a question of how much you're going to worry about the anatomy. It's also I've heard filmmakers and authors and other people say, like, look, you can get really bogged down in research. I think it's kind of the same thing. You can get really bogged down with anatomy. Especially me. I would, if life were longer, if I could spend, 4 decades just working on anatomical drawings, just mastering that skill, just learning it, that would be awesome. That would just be so completely cool. I would really be into that. But life's not that long. Also, I'm kind of wondering if this Atlas, I'm also kind of wondering if he needs to be more diagonal. Like if there's more of if that doesn't work, like maybe maybe this arm should be raised like that. I think that might work better, but I'll try some drawings, so check that out. All right, I really am going to stop because I want to keep this not insanely long, and because I'm going to go walk in the insane wind that's kicking up right now. Which I actually really like. I'm probably really, it's going to be, I actually want to go before the wind dies down. It's going to be a blast to walk in the weather, out in the elements. All right, yeah, so thanks for checking it out. This is drawing while talking. Again, maybe I just have to stop saying that. Maybe that's kind of silly. All right, yeah, thanks. Have an awesome day. Peace out.